afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis, hence the name of my channel, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. 4 years ago, I was asked to come up with a series of videos that were filmed inexpensively. We don't use digital cameras, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't use shotgun microphones, we wear tatty shirts, we just use a phone, but we look at cars that you can buy for a budget up to £1,000 only, and we very much enjoy ourselves. These are cars that might be in cosmetically bad condition. You might see oil leaks, rattly dashboards and cosmetic imperfections, but we go all over the country and we find these very inexpensive cars that you all seem to enjoy watching. Well viewers, this is the sixth Rover 600 we've had on the channel. We've previously had a 1998 Rover 620 GS automatic that I used to own. We've had a 1995 620 SLI manual that Mr. Colm, rubbish mechanic, used to own. We've had a 618i automatic that my friend Chris James used to own. And we've had a 618i manual that is owned by a chap called Hayden, who used to have two of them together. Him and his father had a couple of them in the family. And this is, well, different from all those. It is a 1998 620 Ti. Yes, a 620 Ti for no budget reviews money. And it actually is. This car cost the owners £900. Which is bonkers. There are some reasons why this car is in no budget reviews territory, and we will examine some of them immediately. First of all, the paint is it's not good. You can see the wing and the bonnet don't match, and yeah, we've got some rust that's been filled down here. The front of the rear arch there is where they all go. This one has been repaired. You can see again the paint is not good on these doors. It's not good around here. The rear bumper has been changed for one with parking sensors for some reason, which are not connected. It's also had a spoiler put on it. The spoiler fit was optional on the 620 Ti. The paint on here is typical Rover 600. It's not very good on the boot lid. It has been sort of done, but yeah, it still looks interesting. Then round here, it's a very, very common place where they go. Rust is just here. This bumper needs sorting out. The paint's all flat on this bit. Again, front of the rear wheel arch there is not good, but that's been repaired, so that's excellent. And then this door is, well, it's not great. However, this car has done 190,000 miles. Yes, so we're getting into the sort of reasons why this lovely 620 Ti might be a bit on the lower side of 620 Ti values. Also, look at this gearbox. It's a bit floppy. It's even difficult to find first sometimes in this. You have to go for second. But interior actually isn't too bad considering the mileage on this. And this was rescued from, I think, the Crusher by Richard and Ryan, who run the NA Turbo YouTube channel, who keep saving lots and lots of nice 90s cars, including this one. One of the later ones, we've got a different interior with passenger airbag. The equivalent when this car was launched in 1993 was the 623IS, which continued in parallel with the 620 Ti for a while, but eventually it was superseded by it, and that didn't have a passenger airbag. I don't even think that got a driver's airbag. I think it was the 623 GSI originally that got one of those, but by like 94, 95 all of them had the driver's airbag. Interesting sort of interior trim, this typical seat fabric for the 620 Ti's, and then it's part leather seats in here as well. Leather windows are in the middle. The driver's window on a Rover 600 is one of the biggest problems with them. On mine, which only cost me admittedly in 2019 £320, that didn't work. This one is fine. Sunroof I've been told not to use. Headlining is sagging. Typical, you know, no budget reviews, thank you. Cable stereo in here. Air conditioning in this car. Yeah, it's a nice comfortable seat. The only thing is I would say, and this is something that I've spoken to Richard and Ryan about, is the fact that this seat obviously is not in the best condition, but it feels a bit firm, and they just say the foam's collapsed. It could be just maybe that's what they're like, because the GSIs definitely do have more squishy seats in them. Let's get in the back. I'm not expecting there to be the most space. For the size of the car, the rear of these is a little bit on the cramped side for some reason. I don't know why, but it's always the case. All of them I've driven, it's been like that. It's not too bad actually. On the SI, I think, and above, you did get folding rear seats. This will have it as well. And a nice armrest. So there's not the most headroom, and I'm not even thinking about the headliner, which actually is okay at the moment in the back. It's just the sunroof which is where it's worst. It's all right. It's not the most commodious car, but yeah, it's okay. It's better than a Rover 400, which would be in the time, the HHRs, which were even worse in the back than those. Electric windows, of course. I like all the wood. I prefer a GSI with the full wood and leather package, but that's just me, isn't it, viewers? Nice armrest though as well. And we've got some mat pockets as well. We've got some properly big mat pockets in this, which is nice. Right, what I ought to do is see if we can get me secret mission documents in the glove box. Okay, so there is actually a remote release for the boot, but we're going to use the key because we're here. By the way, this car should just say 600 on the back rather than 620 Ti. So in 1996, when they made quite a few changes to the 600, they got rid of the separate badging for different trim levels. But Richard and Ryan have put that back on. Nice, big, deep boot, although there is quite a step in the floor towards that side of it, as you can see. Alloy spare in here. Excellent, and some umbrellas. The boot carpeting does need finishing off, by the way, in here. This car was rescued from the crusher, so not everything is present and correct in it yet. But yeah, it's nice to see a very, very nice TI. And one thing I do appreciate about this car is just the way that Rover, over the original Honda Accord design that this is based on, added just more sort of interior comfort features and things to make you feel at home, like more wood and bits like that. The Japanese market car this was based on is called the Honda Ascot Innova, and that was made in Swindon between 1993 and 1998 as the Honda Accord. Although the Honda Accord does have a different side profile from this, and it does actually look quite different. But yeah, a nice looking car. I like these TI wheels. I think we better have a look under the bonnet. This is what makes the 630 Ti different from all the other petrol 600s. The engine actually turns in a completely different direction from all the Honda units, the F and H series petrol engines that powered the majority of the 600s. The gearbox on this car is on this side, and it is a different gearbox from the Honda engine ones. If you were looking at, say, a 618, then you'd find the gearbox on the left. Here it's on the right. This is Rover's own engine. It's called the T series. This was one of the last applications of it, and with this car it generates 197 horsepower and it's got a turbo. They do blow head gaskets sometimes, the T series. It's not as common as a K series, and I've owned 9 Rovers myself, so I'm very familiar with K series problems. Obviously, Mr. Richardson from Furious Driving's channel, he has had problems with his T-Series engine Rover 200 Tomcat, which is just the standard, normally aspirated version. But it's not unknown to have them. This one, he was okay. Cam cover gasket seems to be weeping a little bit in this car, but that's really normal. And you know, 190,000 miles, which isn't too bad actually, really at all. They do have a cam belt that you need to change. I think all the engines are actually cam belt driven, ones we can talk about anyway. But yes, nice and powerful, nice and fruity. The TIs also have different springs from the standard cars, so they ride and handle a little bit differently. Right, I think it's time to go for a drive, viewers. Right, here we go, viewers, with this rather dodgy gearbox on this car. The 620 Ti's have a different gearbox from most of the rest of the manual 600s, and they aren't necessarily the best. They do have some problems. This one's just a bit floppy and worn out. They can sort of explode into the casing. You've got to watch that. The base engine when the car was launched in 1993 was a 2-litre Honda F-Series engine with 113 horsepower. That was later replaced with a 1.8-litre F-Series with the same power output, again about 150 PS, 113 horsepower. The one that I recommend you go for though, actually, if you want one of these, is the 2-litre 129 horsepower, which is just a little bit quicker. The 618s are fine, but just a little bit better in that respect. Then there are the H-Series engine cars with a 2.3-litre engine with 158 horsepower. They're quite rare as manuals, but tend to be more popular as automatics. And of course this 2-litre turbo T-Series engine with 197 horsepower. Oh, viewers, I was having so much fun with this car and throwing into some corners, but I forgot to say there are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What you talk about instead is the fact that actually the steering in this 620 Ti is better than all the other 600 I've driven. I've driven 4 of them previously, so I do have some experience in that regard, and I've always found the steering a little bit too light in those. This one, it has a different steering setup, and it's so much better. It's so much more feel and steering. You can place the car really, really nicely and easily. Going along at sort of 30 miles an hour, it does feel a little bit slow for this car. It wants to go much, much faster than this. And what we're going to do now is we will go and find a faster road and put our foot down, and we will see what happens. Oh, viewers, 0 to 60 apparently takes less than 7 seconds in this thing, and I can well believe it. Let's see if we can get out of this junction nice and quickly. I have to wait a little while. Oh, here we go. Yes. Oh my gosh. That view is the speed limit. And, well, it's quite quick, viewers. It's, how do I put this? Most enjoyable. The steering is weighted up quite nicely. It's not quite as firm as I would ideally hope, but it's much better than on a standard one of these. And what a nice, comfortable way to travel around very, very quickly. You can see what the police actually use these as well. Brakes feel good, discs all round, of course. All it is just this floppy gearbox that's really hampering my enjoyment of this car. Other than that, what an amazing car for 900 of your English pounds. Let's look at some Rover 600 trim levels, viewers. So there were facelifts in 1996 and 1997. 97 were more sort of cosmetic, and they also, by the time this car was made, introduced, you know, lower suspension to the range, and everything was color coded and things like that. Some minor interior changes, more equipment, things like that. The base model was the I, as in 620i, and then the SI, the SLI, the GSI. The first IS was the 623 IS, which was like a sporting model when the car was launched in 1993. Later on, that was replaced by the TI, although you could get them both together for a while. In 1997 and 1998, the 618 got a couple of special editions, the IS, which was more sporty, and the IL, which is more luxurious. So viewers, should you consider a Rover 600 for your hard-earned budget of up to £1,000? Well, you can still get them that kind of money, particularly if you're in the Facebook group for these cars, which is a very good Facebook group, by the way. Yes, a lot of them do come up in there. For a nice 620 Ti, though, you're going to be paying at least £3,000 for a nice one. This one is obviously on the cheaper end of that perspective, but things like a SLI, something like that, or a GSI, maybe £1,000 to £2,000 could buy you a very nice car. Occasionally they sell for more than that, but they're not that expensive, even if they're reasonably rare these days. But you do have to watch to see the cam belt's been done. You need to watch the rust. You need to watch the driver's window, which in this car is being a bit funny today. I managed to have to raise it up by hand, which is normal. Yeah, you've got to watch electrics and things like that. And sometimes they can have oil leaks, but yeah, I still really like these cars. Maybe I should buy another one at some point in my life. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more inexpensive motoring.